My name is Name. I'm one of the co-founders of an academy. We run a very popular channel with over 2 million followers. And today we are here to talk about what you will learn in this course. Now, when we started this academy, our goal was to demystify law. There's this huge barrier to entry for people who want to understand legal concepts, or even people who are aspiring to become lawyers themselves. It seems like this mystical world that is almost impossible to enter unless you know the right people or you read from the right background. That's not true. The only thing you need to start learning law is an internet connection and a willingness to learn. And if you have those two things, then congratulations. You can now access some of the best legal minds from around the world, learn from their experience without ever having to leave your home. In this course, we'll be covering topics that are fundamental to understanding the practice of law. So whether you're an aspiring lawyer, someone who just wants to brush up on their legal knowledge, or even a lawyer who has been practicing for years, but maybe has really thought about some of these concepts since law school, this course is for you. The first part of the course will focus on teaching you the fundamentals of how a case proceeds through the legal system. Now, if you want to be a lawyer, or if you want to work in a field where there is a high demand for legal expertise, it is critical that you know how the system works. If you're litigating a case, you need to know what comes first, what comes second. Is it a complaint, or is it a petition? How do you file each of these documents? What do you include in these documents? How do you structure them? If you don't have this foundational level knowledge, you will be lost, and quite frankly, you won't be able to perform many of the basic tasks expected of you as a lawyer. In the second part of the course, we will teach you the elements of different causes of action. Every case is going to arise out of a set of facts, but then there is also a legal theory or a legal rule that supports a particular result. For example, if you're suing for breach of contract, there are certain elements that have to be proven in order for you to win. Those same elements may apply in one case but not another, because the facts may not support the application of those elements. Or you might have a situation where the facts support the application of several different legal rules. But you as a lawyer have to decide which one makes the most sense, or which one is going to lead to the best result for your client. Part 2 of the course will help you understand the various causes of action that are commonly litigated in civil court, and the various crimes that are commonly prosecuted in criminal court. Finally, the third part of the course will focus on the skills required to become a successful lawyer. Now, there are plenty of lawyers out there who are excellent legal writers, researchers, and oral advocates, but they lack the skills necessary to actually run a successful practice, or to thrive in their current legal environment. For example, a lawyer needs to know how to market themselves and attract clients. They need to know how to manage their time and their finances. They need to know how to communicate with other lawyers, and more importantly, how to negotiate. All of these are critical skills for any lawyer, regardless of what area of law they're practicing. And so we've made sure to include them in the curriculum for this course. Let's take a look at each of these modules in a little bit more detail. In Module 1, we will cover the basics of civil litigation. This includes things like what is a complaint, what is a defendant, what is a plaintiff. We will also teach you about alternative dispute resolution methods such as arbitration and mediation. We'll discuss the differences between criminal and civil cases and cover the basic structure of both types of cases. Criminal cases will be covered in Module 5. This module will give you a foundation to understand the remaining modules, and will introduce you to basic legal terminology that is used throughout the legal system. Module 2 builds on this foundation and teaches you the steps of discovery, which is one of the most important parts of any civil case. We'll teach you what discovery is, why it's important, the types of discovery requests that are commonly used, how to draft and respond to those requests, and what happens if a party fails to comply with discovery. Module 3 covers pretrial motions. These are the motions that are filed before the case goes to trial, and they serve an important function in narrowing the issues and preparing the case for trial. Some of the common types of pretrial motions that we'll cover include a motion to dismiss, summary judgment, and a motion in limine. Module 4 covers trial and post-trial procedure. At this point in the course, you will have a good understanding of what happens after a case is filed, how the case proceeds through the various stages of litigation all the way to trial. But what happens after there is a verdict? Does the losing party always have the ability to appeal? How does an appeal work? What are the grounds for appeal? This module will answer all of those questions and more. Modules 5 and 6 cover criminal procedure and criminal law, building on the foundational knowledge you learned in Module 1. We'll dive into the world of criminal law. Module 5 will cover criminal procedure, and will focus on the steps of a criminal prosecution, the types of defenses that are available to a criminal defendant, and the different types of punishments that can be imposed by a court. Module 6 will cover the various crimes that are included in the criminal law. In Module 7, we'll teach you the elements of different torts. Torts are civil wrongs that give rise to a cause of action. In order to prevail on a tort claim, a plaintiff must prove the elements of the tort. This module will cover some of the most common torts, including negligence, intentional torts, strict liability, and defamation. Module 8 covers contracts. A breach of contract claim arises out of a situation where one party breaches their promise to another party. To state a claim for breach of contract, a plaintiff must show the existence of a valid contract, a breach of that contract, and damages resulting from the breach. This module will cover the elements of a contract, the different types of contracts, as well as the remedies that are available for breach of contract claims. In Module 9, we'll cover property law, which focuses on the ownership and use of property. Property law can be broken down into two major categories: real property, which deals with land, and personal property, which deals with movable items. We'll cover the different types of property, how property is transferred, and the different interests that can be held in property. Module 10 covers criminal defenses. Not every criminal defendant is guilty of the crime they are charged with. Sometimes there are factual or legal defenses that excuse the defendant's conduct or negate the mental state required for the crime. This module will cover some of the most common criminal defenses, including self-defense, defense of others, defense of property, necessity, and insanity. Module 11 covers criminal law. Criminal law prohibits conduct that is harmful to society, and it's enforced by the government. There are many different crimes prohibited by criminal law, and they can be classified in a number of ways, including felonies and misdemeanors. This module will cover some of the most common crimes that are prosecuted under criminal law, including theft crimes, assault crimes, and sex crimes. In Module 12, we'll cover civil rights. Civil rights protect individuals from the government and its agents. Violation of civil rights can result in a civil lawsuit against the government or an individual who acts under color of law. This module will cover some of the most common civil rights violations, including false arrest and imprisonment, excessive force and malicious prosecution. This course is designed to provide you with the foundational knowledge you need to understand the legal system and the practice of law. We hope that you enjoy this course and that it helps you achieve your goals. Whether you're aspiring to be a lawyer yourself, or just want to better understand the legal system, we're committed to making legal education accessible to everyone. We believe that everyone should have the opportunity to learn about the law, and we're excited to offer this course to help you do just that.